It's Wednesday, June 20th. Welcome to Pastor Bob Daily. This is the third in a series of 5, in a series that I'm calling 5 Serious Flaws of the Modern Church. And we've been talking for the last few days about some difficulties in the church. Now, I want to say once again, and I want to keep repeating this, that I'm not anti-church whatsoever. I really want to fix what's wrong. And let's keep talking about this so we can get some ideas here. Now, number 3 today is spectator sport versus Socratic discussions. I realize I have a lot to explain with this. In other words, one of the greatest opportunities that you and I have in the body of Christ is sharing with each other and growing together. You are different than I am. And we're going to talk more about that tomorrow and our unique spiritual gifts. But you and I are different, and I need you and you need me. Nobody in themselves is complete. So one of the biggest dangers we have today, I think, in the church in America and the church internationally is that it's become a spectator sport. We're very used to going to church, sitting there, watching someone speak. They face us, we face them. We never face each other. We watch that person, we listen to that person, and then we go home. Sunday night we may do the same thing. Wednesday we may do the same thing. Not enough interaction between the people. Now, I've tried a lot of things in my ministry, and I've done it that way probably mostly. I wouldn't today. And in the last few years, I've tried a lot of different things. I've actually turned to people and had them face each other and kind of stand in the middle. And even 25 years ago, I was doing panel discussions and different kinds of things to kind of mix it up. Or the kind of thing where people ask questions and can comment live. But this whole idea of a spectator sport where one person speaks and nobody else gets involved is really dangerous for us. We grow the best through Socratic discussion. And let me explain what that means. Socratic comes from the word Socrates. And I'm not saying that I endorse all of Socrates' teachings. I like some of them. But the term comes from him, and Socrates said that if you allow people to discuss among themselves, everybody brings their own unique viewpoints in, and you can usually arrive at a pretty solid conclusion. Socratic discussion. Now, that's kind of the way the Bible talks about it. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about spiritual gifts and how we need to use them together. And I don't want to give you too much on that today because I want to talk about it tomorrow. But you see, that's the way it really should be. That's how we grow and that's how we stay balanced. These days there are way too many pastors that don't have a balance. They don't allow other people to speak, or other people don't step up to speak. They have really a spectator sport mentality where they're used to doing all the speaking and everybody else just listens and then goes home. Many times not even inviting people's opinions. Well, that is kind of dangerous, isn't it? And really not a good idea. So how do you move from that? Well, the first thing is, it's not wrong to listen to somebody talk. And many churches have a great pastor that's very balanced and a very good teacher. Nothing wrong with that. But you ought to have some groups where people get together and can talk freely and move in specific directions, where their voice can be heard. It's nothing better than studying the Bible with a lot of people's input, because you get so many different kinds of ideas and so many different kinds of balance there that you wouldn't have ordinarily. But the most dangerous thing about a spectator sport mentality is that everybody considers the pastor to be the CEO. And he really has to wear every hat in the church. A very interesting study was done a few years ago by a prominent ministry. And they asked pastors this question: have you seriously considered leaving the ministry in the last 3 months? 60% of them said yes. Pastors are burned out. Pastors are feeling the load of the ministry where they have to do everything. They're tired of being the performer. They're tired of people just showing up to listen and then going home. They're really tired, many of them, of the spectator sport. You know, you ought to go in, talk to your pastor, and ask him what you can do to help, that you realize this is a problem. Pastors, you got to develop some other kinds of programs along with your teaching. That's really important. You see, a church without interaction is in danger of becoming a cult, is in danger of becoming stale, is in danger of going off on tangents that aren't necessarily biblical. The only way you can really stay true and solid is if you all do it together. And I hope you'll listen to this, because I think this is one of the biggest flaws that we have in the modern church today. So let's make it Socratic discussions. Let's all get together. Let's all begin to talk and realize that your input is just as important as anybody else's. And let's take it more and more away from a spectator sport. God bless you. Have a great day.